On the other side, there is Germany, the same mighty Germany which so recently withstood almost the world in arms. Germany, which resisted with such formidable capacity that it took between 2 and 3 Allied lives to take one German life in the 4 years of the Great War. Germany, which has also allies, friends and associates in her train, powerful nations who consider their politics as associated to some extent with hers. Germany, whose annual quota of youth reaching the military age is already nearly double the youth of France. Germany, where the parliamentary system and the safeguards of the parliamentary system, which we used to be taught to rely upon after the Great War, are in abeyance. I do not know where Germany's parliamentary system stands today, but certainly military men are in control of the essentials. Germany has paid since the war an indemnity of about 1,000 million sterling, but she has borrowed in the same time about 2,000 million sterling with which to pay that indemnity and to equip her factories. Her territories have been evacuated long before the stipulated time. I rejoice in it, and now she has been by Lausanne virtually freed from all those reparations which had been claimed from her by the nations whose territories have been devastated in the war, or whose prosperity, like ours, has been gravely undermined by the war. At the same time, her commercial debts may well prove ultimately to be recoverable. I am making no indictment of Germany. I have respect and admiration for the Germans and desire that we should live on terms of good feeling and fruitful relations with them. But we must look at the fact that every concession which has been made, many concessions have been made, and many more will be made and ought to be made, has been followed immediately by a fresh demand. Now the demand is that Germany should be allowed to rearm. Do not delude yourselves. Do not let His Majesty's government believe, I am sure they do not believe, that all that Germany is asking for is equal status. I believe the defined term now is equal qualitative status, or, as an alternative, equal quantitative status by indefinitely deferred stages. And that is not what Germany is seeking. All these bands of sturdy Teutonic youths marching through the streets and roads of Germany with the light of desire in their eyes to suffer for their fatherland are not looking for status. They are looking for weapons, and when they have the weapons, believe me, they will then ask for the return of lost territories and lost colonies, and when that demand is made, it cannot fail to shake and possibly shatter to their foundations every one of the countries I have mentioned, and some other countries I have not mentioned. And besides Germany, there is Russia. Russia has made herself an Ismail among the nations, but she is one of the most titanic factors in the economy and in the diplomacy of the world. Russia, with her enormous, rapidly increasing armaments, with her tremendous development of poison gas, aeroplanes, tanks, and every kind of forbidden fruit, Russia, with her limitless manpower and her corrosive hatreds, weighs heavily upon a whole line of countries, some small, others considerable, from the Baltic to the Black Sea, all situated adjacent to Russian territory. And these countries have newly gained their independence, and their independence and nationhood are sacred to them, and we must never forget that most of them have been carved, in whole or in part, out of the old Russian Empire, the Russian Empire of Peter the Great and Catherine the Great. In some cases, these countries are also in deep anxiety about Germany. I am sure that I have not overdrawn the picture. I have marshalled the facts, but I have not overdrawn the picture. Can we wonder? Can any reasonable, fair-minded, peace-loving person wonder, in the circumstances, that there is fear in Europe, and behind the fear, the precautions, perhaps in some cases exaggerated precautions, which fear excites? We, in these islands, with our heavy burdens and with our wide imperial responsibilities, ought to be very careful not to meddle improvidently or beyond our station and beyond our proportionate stake in this tremendous European structure. If we were to derange the existing foundations, based on force though they may be, we might easily bring about the very catastrophe that most of all we desire to avert. What would happen to us then? No one can predict. But if by the part we had played in European affairs we had precipitated such a catastrophe, then I think our honor might be engaged beyond the limitations which our treaties and agreements prescribe. We must not forget, and Europe and the United States must not forget, that we have disarmed. Alone among the nations we have disarmed, while others have rearmed.